Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, and the noob. I'm actually 1/5 noob, 4/5 expert.
We're a couple of magical people ready to moon crisis make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 166, Yume yo Itsumademo Hikari ten ni Michite in Japanese. Dreams Forever, Fill the Heavens with Light, the English translation, and the English title, The Sweetest Dream.
Oh, the sweetest dream. And I'm feeling it.
Yeah?
Yeah, but not so much. I got senioritis, man.
Yeah?
I'm ready to be gone. I'm not even here.
You're not?
No.
Where are you?
Nobody shows up for the last day of school. Come on. Give me this. I was absolutely there for the last day of school. And I probably was there for 3 hours afterwards.
Oh my gosh.
Clapping out erasers and saying goodbye to all my teachers. Just give me this.
I'll give it to you.
I got my sunglasses on. I got a cool bandana.
Because your future's so bright, you gotta wear shades.
Yeah, okay, sure, yeah. Just give me that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to relax. I feel like Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
Just
I'm
generally.
waiting.
Same
I'm waiting.
hair. In that, I just, if the thing starts off and you're so full of hope, and you're being introduced to a larger world, right?
Yep.
And then you're kind of struck down in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You find out things aren't quite so easy,
Yeah.
But ultimately, hopefully, you get to wear black, look cool, and you get stronger.
Right.
But much like Luke Skywalker, I'm asking, why didn't you tell me?
Who are you
Ben,
asking that?
Audience. Why didn't you tell me? No hand, sisters kissing me. Nobody told me it was going to be like that. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Oh.
Honestly, it's worse than I remember it being.
Well, okay, then I guess you're layering in your excuse now.
Yes, I am.
Remember, it was this bad. Nobody told me. But somebody could have told me.
Somebody could have.
But it wasn't their job. But we got a comment from a listener on Spotify, our Spotify Q&A.
Sure.
Where people answer the question, what did they think about this episode? From last episode, I guess in anticipation of where we were heading, but episode 165, When the Crystal Shines, The Beautiful Power of Dreams. And it's from listener Cosmic Rain, who said, "Thank you for enduring the absolute worst season of Sailor Moon. Your bravery and perseverance will help you reach the stars."
Yay!
So thank you, Cosmic Rain. But I
Yes,
got a question
thank
for you. Why didn't you tell me?
You wanted somebody to ruin the surprise for you?
I think I could have been. There's a at war mindset.
Okay.
That you put on, a defensive posture.
Sure.
Where you go, okay, I'm going to try to find the best in this. But I came off the high of S.
Yep.
A maintaining of a high. I still, as listeners know, prefer R to S, but very solid. I got to meet Mehmet.
Yeah, you did.
I'll never forget it. And Uranus and Neptune, and we're going places, and then, just slam on the brakes. It's like Douglas Adams, in one of his many books, uses the example of somebody's having a hitch in their giddy up, a chilling of their cool.
Sure.
Where they're driving down the highway, in a British sports car, and they shift from fourth into reverse, and the engine, comes out of the hood.
Of course.
That's what it was like.
Yeah. It's unsettling.
It's like finding out that your greatest enemy is actually your father and getting your hand cut off.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
And then hanging from the bottom of a floating cloud city.
You're at the absolute worst, the absolute bottom of the hero's journey.
And then your hand falls down into the gas giant.
Oh my god.
Only it doesn't, Timothy Zahn, because they make another Luke out of it. That's Star Wars stuff.
What?
We can't jump into that. We got to do Sailor Moon stuff, or we're never getting out of here.
Oh my god.
The sunglasses are off already, and I'm ready to clap those erasers.
All right. Well, let's get clapping and tell us about...
Make it clap, everybody.
Make it clap.
Here on episode 166. 616.
Tell us what happens in this episode,
Finally.
Cal. Yes.
At long last, I will. And in this episode, we open, as we have in these past few last episodes, with a quick recap of our last episode, with the Sailor Senshi facing down Nehellenia as the Dark Queen is poised to conquer Earth with darkness. Chibiusa entreats the children of the world to pray with her.
Yeah.
Come on, everybody. Give me a hallelujah and an amen. And use Moon Crisis power to activate the golden crystal. And indeed, the light of the golden crystal explodes, engulfing Nehellenia and cleansing the earth of blackness. Light spills out of the main big top, piercing and exploding the other dead moon big top UFOs across the city. That's convenient.
Yeah.
And clearing the webs from the streets of Tokyo. Once the onslaught of radiance fades, the main big top itself lies in ruins, and a column of daylight stabs up out of a tear in its center. Within, the Sailor Senshi lie amongst the ruins of the tattered structure. Helios, too, sprawls, insensate. Out of the rubble rises Sailor Moon. She shakes her head to clear it and is shocked to see standing in the shadows the still living Nehellenia.
Yes.
And a dazed Sailor Chibi Moon under her arm. Mm-hmm. In the darkness of her alcove, Nehellenia's eyes glow redly.
Yes.
From the tear in the giant tent, we see rubble begin to rise. And as the black moon still eclipses the light of the sun, the ground begins to shake as Nehellenia and Chibi disappear. The mass of rubble filling the room begins to rise up, and Sailor Moon dashes across the gap and leaps to catch the edge of a pedestal, and she is lifted into the air by what can now clearly be seen as the ruins of the great elephantine statue from the circus's ring.
Yes.
The headless witch, by the way, has like claws, like lizard, devil's claws.
Yeah, apparently.
So this elephant needs a trim.
Yeah.
But look, it's got a tusk and it's got a trunk. I don't know what to tell you. That's an elephant. It's between him and his manicurist.
And maybe an elephant dragon. I don't know.
An elephant dragon. A dragonphant.
Yes.
Take that, Sam. The headless statue rises far above the city as Sailor Moon pulls herself inside to dubious safety. And this part reminds me of Zardoz.
Oh, so they're
Zardoz.
flying around in the head?
Zardoz.
Zardoz speaks to you.
Sean Connery, sneaks into the Zardoz head to kill Arthur Frayne.
Yeah.
Exact same thing.
Exactly.
If we got John Borman and Kunihiko Ikuhara into a room together, what do you think would happen?
I think it would just be fireworks.
They get on like a house on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that redneck canoeing movie you made. Oh, thanks. Your Subway Sibling Death TV show was fantastic. Exhausted, Sailor Moon rushes into the bowels of the floating structure as the statue is pulled up into the new moon. Sailor Moon thinks there's no mistake. The statue is being pulled up into the new moon. And she runs up a circular flight of stairs that rings the inside of the tower-like structure. Farther up the stairs, we see Nehellenia stalking upward, Chibi limp in her arms. And this reminds me of Batman 89.
Oh, yeah? How come?
End of the movie. The Batwing has crashed into the steps of Gotham Cathedral, and the Joker is retreating up the bell tower.
Okay, yes.
Just so they can get to the kind of lame line, "There's a bat in my belfry." And he's carrying Vicky Vale, and then Batman is kind of stalking after him, and he's kind of messing with him on the steps. You know, he drops a shoe down there, and then he acids the bell, and the bell falls down and almost hits Batman.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta point
Totally.
I gotta point this stuff out.
I mean, let's face it. You're not exactly normal, are you?
Nehellenia thinks, impossible. Could it be that the power to seal me away in that darkness has begun to move? Is that the power of dreams within this little wench? In Chibi's hand, she still grasps the golden crystal. Sailor Moon continues to run up the stairs at full tilt, desperate to save her sister-daughter teammate. Finally, a square of light in the distance indicates the end of the stairs, and from above, she hears a woman's pitiful wail. Emerging into the open air, Sailor Moon sees the shattered remains of Nehellenia's mirror, and before it, Nehellenia herself, kneeling down, with Chibi sprawled on the floor behind her. Nehellenia is changed. Her long black hair is now snow white, her fair skin dull and wrinkled. As Sailor Moon approaches, Nehellenia says, "Stay away from me, you of the white moon!" Usagi gasps to see her transformation as Nehellenia says, "I see. So you were the reincarnation of the Princess of the White Moon. I don't know how to watch this show." Usagi says, "You know about me?" And the Queen says, "So you don't remember me. I have always watched over your kingdom with envy, your kingdom of light, your kingdom where happiness was promised. I'll tell you how I became the Queen of Solitude, who lies alone on a cold asteroid." And we see a flashback to the halcyon days of Silver Millennium and the jeweled palaces of Nehellenia's kingdom. She says, "I used to be a queen with many servants as well." And we see the young and fair Nehellenia and her court as her subjects. Men and women of all ages bask in her presence. And Nehellenia is looks like we see her in the show, but young, very rosy-cheeked. She's even got the Chan-Chan marks.
Yes.
So you get the idea that she's, elder teenager, not quite like the womanly queen.
Right, exactly.
Which is even more legend than we called out before.
Okay, sure.
Nehellenia says, "All the people loved my beauty, and I believed my own beauty to be eternal. But one day I was told the truth by my mirror." And we see the Queen standing before her giant mirror, saying, "Mirror, mirror, tell me my beautiful future. My dream is for this beauty to be eternal. Please tell me the end of this dream." Her mirror suddenly grows dark, and the Queen sees, staring back at her, the elderly face of the Nehellenia we saw in present Tokyo. Young Nehellenia stumbles back in horror, saying, "What is this?" And looking around her chambers, she sees the phantoms of spiderwebs covering everything. She looks down in terror at her own wrinkled hands, and then back at the aged specter in the mirror, thinking, "Is this how I will end up? How horrible!" Hey, we invent Botox eventually. I mean, she could have just held on. Get some L'Oreal.
Sure.
As she trembles in fear, she begins to hear a guttural chant. "Dream, dream, don't doubt it. A dream of dreams that dreaming children have." And we zoom into the now black surface of her mirror to see within a giant circus big top festooned with balloons and glowing redly. Something goofy this way comes. We cut to the Hall of Mirror and we see the now familiar sight of Queen Nehellenia of the Dead Moon standing before her mirror, chanting, "Dream, dream, don't doubt it. A dream of dreams that dreaming children have." As she looks up, her eyes glow red, and we see below her in the mirror the image of Zirconia, surrounded by dozens of Zirconia heads, giggling evilly. We see once again the fawning courtiers of Nehellenia, but now, one by one, their dream mirrors are taken from their bodies, and they become the members of the Dead Moon Circus Company. Yes, we're seeing the origins of all your favorite performers, like the guy from Prodigy, Mulatina, Undead Rick Hunter, Giannis Udanta, Blackface Iggy Pop, Alfred P. Deadman, Goblin Sex Criminal, the creature from the Brown Lagoon, Stoned Contortionist, the ogre with a parrot on her head, Middle-Aged Buccaneer, the Insane Teddy Bear, Kim Jong-ilin, Lorraine Newman in her underwear, Business Casual Pazuzu, Star Boobs, the Harlequin of Rage, Bat Brow, Funky Junkie, Angelical Sphinx. We see webs almost completely covering the big top, and we see dozens of mirrors floating in the folds of Nehellenia's gown, as she says, "I ate all the dreams from my servants and people, and I learned the secret to eternal beauty was to eat other people's dreams. So she saw reality TV.
Yeah.
And among all of my servants who became living corpses, I decided to live all alone. Except she's not alone, because she's surrounded by the ogre with a flamingo on his head, Ogrecles, Head, G.I. Robot, the mummy with a frog hand, goth showgirl Morpheus, Jellicle Sphinx, Lorraine Newman in her underwear, exhibitionist Bunny, Giannis Udanta, and the insane teddy bear. Back atop the elephant statue, her story finished, Nehellenia stands silent as Sailor Moon contemplates her with a look of pity. Nehellenia says, "Do you know why we're rising right now? The power to seal me on the other side of the mirror in the darkness of the new moon has once again started to move." Nehellenia looks wearily to the black orb above them and says, "That's all right. I don't want a future where I have to live with such an ugly appearance. Within the mirror, I can be eternally beautiful." Sailor Moon says, "And you'll be alone forever." But Nehellenia spits out, "Shut up! What do you know?" And she rears back, and out of her explodes Zirconia, her body stretching out to grasp Sailor Moon in her gnarled hands. Oh my god! She's a Quato!
What's a Quato?
From Total Recall.
Oh, okay.
Quaid. The torso of Zirconia pushes Sailor Moon back to the edge of the platform, throttling her with wizened hands and chuckling evilly. Back across the floor, Nehellenia says, "This is what you get for taking away my beauty! You shall die!" Sailor Moon struggles to breathe, but she manages to say, "What a sad person you are!" At this, Zirconia stops short, her hands loosening from Usagi's neck, and with a flash, she draws back into Nehellenia's body. Somebody played the music in reverse. Sailor Moon gasps for air, and as she recovers, Nehellenia wails, "Don't look at me with those eyes!" That's all I have to look with. What am I going to use my ears?
Oh, shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Nehellenia says, "Those eyes." Back then. And we see an image of a figure that looks like Usagi, clad in a flowing white gown, wings protruding from her back as she holds a glowing crystal. Nehellenia says, "They're the ones that sealed me away!" And Sailor Moon says, "What do you mean?" But Nehellenia cowers behind her arms as she says, "Don't look at me with sympathetic eyes! I don't want your sympathy, you of all people!" And she grabs Chibi by the throat and lifts her up above her head. Sailor Moon says, "Stop! What are you doing?" As Nehellenia says, "You took the most important thing away from me, so I'm going to take away what's most important from you." And to Sailor Moon's horror, Nehellenia throws Chibiusa over the edge of the platform, sending her plummeting to the city far below, as Usagi screams, "Chibi Moon!" Right?
Yes.
Like an anchorman?
Yes.
You destroyed the only thing I love. What do you love?
Well, I love my dog, Baxter.
Well, guess what? Now this is happening.
What are you doing?
That's how I roll.
No, Baxter, no! No!
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Now that's an act break.
Yes, it is.
Chibi falls and falls until she's lost to sight. Sailor Moon collapses in disbelief and sorrow as behind her, Nehellenia laughs and says, "See? How's the pain of losing your loved one? The pain of losing your future. Now you know how I feel." What? Nehellenia stops short as she sees Sailor Moon stand up and walk to the edge of the platform, staring out over the abyss. She turns back to the Queen to say, "I will never lose to you." And she leaps out into the air and begins to fall like a dart towards the ground below. Alone on top of the statue, Nehellenia can only say, "Foolish, following your loved one, you threw away your dreams and your future." Looking up at the ever-expanding black moon, she says, "Now my time of loneliness is going to start again." A beat of silence passes as Nehellenia looks down again, finally laughing to herself and saying, "I'm not going to let go of my dream. I'm not going to become an adult! And a flash passes over her, and we see her once again, within the mirror, its glass restored, as the queen chants, "Dream, dream, don't doubt it. A dream of dreams that dreaming children have." All around her, the elephant statue crumbles to dust, and as her mirror continues to rise towards the black moon, and the Star Trek lady begins a mournful wail. Really, isn't that theremin or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Nehellenia says, "That's right. I will continue to live alone, forever all by myself. I will be young and beautiful." And her mirror enters the sphere of blackness and disappears. Back in Freefall, we see Chibi rocketing towards the streets of Tokyo below, but above, diving towards her at incredible speed, is Sailor Moon. It's 100% pure adrenaline, Johnny. It's Point Break.
Yeah, Point Break. You're right. It is Point Break.
She's doing a Point Break.
Oh my God.
I know you want me so bad it's like acid in your mouth.
Buffeted by the wind, Sailor Moon approaches Chibi's falling form. Whether with a plan to save her or just to be with her in the final moments, we don't know. 118-pound young woman, she can reach a higher terminal velocity than a 75-pound grade school kid, right?
I would hope so.
Right? If she,
Maybe.
Pencil dives at her. Well, moments pass, like many moments of recycled animation pass. Kind of try to stretch this out a little bit. As Sailor Moon grows no closer and thinks, the wind is taking her away. I can't catch up. This might have been a bad plan.
Yeah.
Damn you, Keanu Reeves. As Usagi falls, we see her silhouetted against the orb of the black moon, and as we watch, the blackness fades and the real face of the moon seems restored. As she continues to fall, Usagi thinks, I'll do it. I can do it. I'll never lose. And as she falls, her brooch begins to sparkle, and she is transformed from Sailor Moon into Princess Serenity. Oh, Usagi, your dress will cause more drag. It'll slow you down. You should be naked for this.
Oh my gosh.
Do that thing where it's like, you halfway transform. And you're
right.
Naked
there you go.
with ribbons. Yeah, that's how you want to do it.
Naked with ribbons.
That's not going to be in the Cloverway cut, though. The dark that covers the city is washed away as the eclipse of the sun ends and the sky is once again bright and blue. And the moon gorgeous meditation music starts up. Usagi soars ever closer to Chibi, her arms outstretched to grasp her, and as they pass the tops of the skyscrapers of Tokyo, she reaches Chibiusa and folds her into her arms. Grabbing the golden crystal in Chibi's hand, she says, "Wake up, Chibi Moon. I can't use the golden crystal by myself." The towers of Tokyo rise like gravestones as the pair plummet towards the canyons of steel, revolving around each other as Usagi screams, "Wake up, Chibiusa!" The pair narrowly miss the roof of a high-rise and a wall of glass races beside them as Usagi says one more time, "Please, Chibiusa, open your eyes. At this rate, both of us will lose our futures." Tearfully, she says, "Chibiusa, please wake up. Let's become adults together. Let's become adults and make our dreams come true together." Agonizingly slowly, Chibiusa's eyes begin to open, and a smile crosses her face as she says, "Sailor Moon, let's make our dreams come true together." The ground milliseconds away, Usagi pulls Chibiusa to her chest and says her name once again as the golden crystal explodes with light. We see the eyes of Helios spring open and he says, "My maiden is calling." And he fades away as in the sky over Tokyo, the form of Pegasus appears. Whoa! I thought you were an FBI agent. Come on, compadre.
Oh my God.
Vaya con Dios.
Oh my God.
Pegasus collides with the falling pair, and an explosion of light bathes the towers of Azubujuban. When the light fades, we see the white-clothed forms of Usagi and Chibiusa floating gently to the ground, white feathered wings arching out from their backs. The pair come to rest gently on a pedestrian overpass above the street. And I mean, this is where you need the old school bit where a bum sees this and he's like,
Yes.
pours out his bottle with 2 X's on it,
Never again.
Yeah, cut the tension a little bit. Later at Togaoka Park, the squad, the cats, and Mamoru stand with Helios on a hill looking over the city. Makoto says, "So you're going after all?" And Ami says, "We finally became friends." And Ray says, If you want, you can live in the open room in our shrine. You don't want that, Ray.
No, you don't
You
want
don't
that.
want that. That's too much trouble.
No.
You gotta be sweeping more than leaves. Helios says, thank you, but I am the guardian of the golden crystal in the sanctuary Elysium. What? I'm sorry? Say that again? Now that this world is peaceful, I am not permitted to stay in this world much longer. Minako says, that's a shame. Easy, Minako. Steady. Helios turns to Mamoru and Usagi and says, Princess, thank you very much. Thanks to you, I've been able to fulfill my duties. Mamoru says, we should be thanking you. You saved this planet and me. Luna says, for a while, I didn't know it was going to happen there.
Thanks, Luna.
First time I heard her say that.
Yeah.
And Artemis says, yeah.
Oh my God, you two. What am I going to do with them?
He's cashing a check.
Yeah, I guess.
Usagi says, Chibi-yusa, what are you being shy about? As she struggles to pull the blushing girl forward to say goodbye. Chibi says, I'm not shy about anything. As she looks up at Helios, Helios says, Chibi-yusa. And he kneels down and kisses her hand, while the girls moan that even Chibi is getting more than them. Helios stands and says, my maiden, I'll never forget about you. Everyone leans in to see Chibi's reaction, but a voice says, look, a UFO! And as everyone looks around wildly, Chibi throws her arms around Helios and hugs him tight. Across the park, in the bushes, are the authorities. No, I wish. It's just the Amazonas Quartet.
Mm-hmm.
Vesves says, even without our spheres, we can use some magic. And screw with conspiracy theorists, I guess. Chujun says, well, should we get going? Pala Pala says, shouldn't we say goodbye? And Siri Siri says, things like that don't suit us. As Vesves says, if we're destined to see each other again, I'm sure we will. Plus, we're going to see that guy on the news. Let's go! And as the banger-ass version of Baby Baby Love plays, we see the image of Helios become the image of Pegasus as he spreads his wings and flies up, up, and away from prosecution as Chibi-yusa runs after him calling his name. Pegasus says, my maiden, I've troubled you so much. I apologize. Hey, refuse to testify. Could you do that for me? Below, Chibi says, Pegasus, I haven't told you yet. But Pegasus flies away over the city. The sounds of sirens following him, probably.
Probably.
As she watches him go, Chibi says, I haven't told you anything about me or my dreams. Usagi puts her hand on Chibi's shoulder and says, I'm sure you'll see him again in 15 to 20 years.
Oh my God.
Chibi says, that's right. I'm sure I'll see him again and let him know about my dreams. And she and Mamoru and Usagi stand together and look forward to a future of beautiful dreams fulfilled. I'll be back.
Oh my God. Whew.
Done!
How does it feel? Sticker time?
It feels like I'm done. Finally.
Yes.
I was at the bank the other day and I was like, I'll take that in small bill. I mean, yeah, that's fine. It's good to, let's say, take the reins off.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah.
Get this halter off.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. It does feel good. And I think that we have earned
A
just
sticker?
spontaneous stickers. How about starting with one and we'll just keep drawing until we feel better.
Okay. Oh, I got one of Sailor Moon and a heart and it says Sailor Moon Crystal. And it's
That's how they're letting you know.
Yeah.
This is Sailor Moon Crystal.
it looks like it was like a fan artist did it because she's not exactly the same artist with Crystal, but
Okay.
it's interesting.
Yeah. That's cute.
Yeah.
This
What'd
is
you
what
get?
I got Usagi, but it's like, living color dance team.
She's in
Usagi.
street clothes. It's really cute.
She's in a white crop top with a like a red puffy jacket and parachute pants and Jordans.
It's really cute. I like it a lot.
And she looks like she's going to bust a move.
She does look like she's going to bust a move.
All right. How about another?
One more? Okay.
One more. Okay. I was going to go to 5.
I lost it. I had one. Okay. Oh, it's cute. I've got one of Luna with a bunch of hearts surrounding her.
Oh, that is cute. That's that sexy Luna. So
And she's smiling.
I got oh man, there's not room on my phone. Maybe I'll put this on my my VR rig. I got a sticker of Sailor Mars and Sailor Moon, and Sailor Mars is got a sweat drop, and looks a little embarrassed about something, and Sailor Moon looks mad about something, and yet there's a heart between them,
which is pretty great.
And that sums up the whole thing, I think.
It does. That's pretty great.
That feels 100% better. Now, let's dive right back in. Put your snorkel on.
Oh,
We're
no.
going swimming.
Okay. Yeah, we got to talk about it a little bit, right?
What exactly is happening here? What's going on?
Starting from where?
Okay, so starting from all the things that I predicted that were basically true. The theme I had, I think the Amazonesses really pushed this theme, and then it turns out that it was really like an organizational theme, and it was really Nehellenia that didn't want to grow up. But I did say that initially about the Amazonesses.
Yes.
Who are rehabilitated.
Yeah.
Although they're not like, they don't open an Avon shop or something like that.
We don't see them doing that.
Right.
No.
Maybe they'll do that in the future, but they're out there. But then like, so I posited a connection between Nehellenia and Zirconia, one which is in this in a muddled way, but I don't understand it. Oh my God. Oh my God, we're not done. Oh my God, we're not done.
What?
What's the movie about?
The movie has nothing to do with this.
Okay. You're sure?
I am positive that the movie is completely separate.
This is so diplomatic.
The movie is different.
Wait, we don't know the whole story yet. Oh my God! I'm tearing up the stickers. Give me the stickers back.
No, you can't get the stickers back.
Oh my God! This is impossible. I'll never be free.
You will.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, then I guess we'll just talk about things that we saw. So, Zirconia is a weird eggplant catfish wizard.
Yes.
From Dreams.
Yes.
And apparently she is not just some random hobo. She represents some higher power, and she's got heads she's got her own heads.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Are these like demon servants or something like that? Here's something. Okay, tell you what. Look, this is going to be stream of consciousness. Here's something I didn't predict, because I just wanted the show to tell me. The origin of the Dead Moon Circus.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Which it was something that I never considered, is like they were just, perverted, soulless versions.
I think you actually mentioned that
all right,
at one point.
I'll take a sticker later. But,
you posited that.
But maybe they're, does just losing your mirror eventually turn you into a juggling weirdo? Or
you die.
Yeah, or you're possessed by nightmare spirits controlled by Zirconia.
Right.
Is she the power behind the throne? Because Nehellenia, we learn, we don't know like exactly what I guess the power is the Silver Crystal, right? Like, but we don't really know what the power of Queen Serenity and Silver Millennium is.
Right.
You figure that like as a sort of a member of that lineage, Nehellenia has some kind of power, but she's making a deal. The deal that she makes is with Zirconia. We don't see the language of the deal, but she looks into that mirror and says, I don't want to look like this. And also, asshole mirror.
Yeah,
you could have
right.
just said, I guess what happens, it's a predestination paradox, but you could just say, you get old, but you look like Lee Merriweather at 80 and you're fine. And,
yeah, right.
You die and, that happens to everybody. Get over it.
Right.
No, the mirror's like, you are totally going to look messed up. You're going to look really bad. And then in her, moment of darkness, a demon comes to her, and that's Zirconia, right? Don't tell me it happens in the manga. We're interpreting with the show.
I know. It's hard.
It's hard. Can't say anything. I'll never be free. I'll never be free. All right, forget it.
No,
Don't tell me.
no, it's just I want to tell you what happens in the manga so bad,
All
and
right. Well,
like,
you can-
and
well,
okay,
wait till we really are free. The first episode
Okay.
of Stars, you can tell me. That'll be our opening. You just so anyway, in the manga. And then at the end, we saw this. I didn't really predict it, but Nehellenia becomes a Zirconia-esque figure herself.
yes.
But why does Zirconia come out of her like a giant hand puppet?
Well, what do you think?
Well, I think that
What does that mean?
Well, I think it means, on her own, Nehellenia became a terrible person.
Yeah.
Because when you decided, because ultimately the theme of this is growing up.
Yes.
We went through all the themes of the past things. Now we know we're done, in quotes, with an asterisk. The theme of this season is growing up.
Yes.
Even though these kids never take their tests.
Yes.
But anyway, for Chibi and for Queen Nehellenia, it is growing up and accepting change.
Mm-hmm.
And she can't do that. And so she goes to the length of eating the souls of her courtiers and her subjects to remain young.
Yes.
And that's a very, there's fairy tales all over this.
Yeah, for sure.
We talked about Snow White before.
Yeah.
But Mirror, Mirror, come on,
Yeah.
There's kind of a Sleeping Beauty in here too.
There is. Yep. 100%.
In the sort of jealousness, of
the jealous queen,
of Maleficent, and
Yep.
And also wanting to be young. I mean, that's in this Disney version of Snow White.
Young and beautiful.
A Lady Bathory-esque element where she's literally going to drain the life force of the people that serve her.
Yeah.
So
right.
she's already bad, but is that Zirconia working through her? Is it literally possessing her at the end? Does Zirconia represent some other force that is getting something out of the deal where Zirconia is here's my just pie in the sky pitch.
Sure.
Zirconia is like an ancient nightmare demon, or maybe somebody similar. Maybe, I don't know, she had her own asteroid billions of years ago. And so Nehellenia needs something, but Zirconia needs something as well, which is the ability to cause trouble and continue to haunt the dreams of, whatever. If Nehellenia can get youth just through eating the mirrors of her people, she doesn't really need, what does the golden crystal do for her other than allow her to take over the earth?
Which is what she wants.
Right. And so I think it's sort of like a power behind the throne thing, where Zirconia is really giving her the power and the magic. And it's Zirconia's desire to, ultimately get the silver crystal or the golden crystal and eliminate Pegasus, because Pegasus is a dream creature and he's sort of the opposite of her. She's more the dream side, and Nehellenia is the ancient, moon person sort of side.
Sure.
And so they work together, and it's a Saruman and the Sauron thing, right?
Sure.
Who's working for who?
Right.
And so Nehellenia is nominally in charge, but Zirconia really does all the work and maybe has the actual power that makes all this run. Although then we see that scene that messes my theory up, where they find her mirror in a lake or something.
Yeah, I don't understand what is up with that, because it's like her mirror is in the lake and she's talking to the Amazon-esque quartet.
Yeah. If that had been Zirconia,
that would have made more sense.
Right, but it wasn't. It was
Nehellenia.
But that's her, I don't know, maybe Zirconia, once she makes the deal, at some point she's sealed away. Does she eat too many mirrors? She eats too many mirrors. And Queen Serenity's like, what's going on? And then they get in the moon car and they drive to the asteroid and they're like, what are you doing? Stop this. And they seal her away.
Yeah.
And so Zirconia is connected to her at this point and is like, I know how we're going to get out of there. Mirrors. That's how all this works.
Sure.
Through mirrors. And so she finds a way to, get a mirror into a lake in the Amazon forest.
Yeah,
and they get a tiger and they're like, it doesn't work out. So what about these girls over here?
Yeah.
I don't think it all goes together perfectly.
It's kind of like when you're doing a puzzle and you're trying to get the piece to fit and it doesn't quite fit.
Yeah, so you get an X-Acto knife out. And but it has a dream-like logic, I guess. It's very dream, it's very fairy tale. Now, what I want to know is, why couldn't we know any of this earlier? What would be the
is-
point? What,
yeah.
What if we knew any of this earlier?
So much of it is backfilled, more so than any other season.
Yeah, to the point
they
where
held out on us.
Yeah, to the point where in the first half of the last episode, the bad guy is still telling you who they are and what it's all about.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw your daughter over the edge of this thing in a second, but first, story time. A long ago, I had a mirror, and, you know,
I know.
we're still learning this stuff.
I know. It's very frustrating. And you.
Bad example, because we don't like to talk about it. And also, she probably made it up as she went. But J.K. Rowling at least has, like, some Tom Riddle stuff, and she's got, you know, drinking unicorn blood, and we've got all these elements to it. Then maybe finally near the end, you start to go, oh, you know, Snape was in love with Lily or whatever, and then he was getting, or he gets some Dementors and his club together or whatever, and you're getting the idea of, like, as he's building his forces, we're also kind of learning more and more about him.
Yes.
And then maybe at the very end you go like, oh, well, he was just a little tortured baby kid. And he was, you know, this is what happens. This is how you get a monster. But at the very end, there isn't like one last thing where it's like, and this is the thing about you. I don't know. I haven't read the books. I just saw the movies. You know, once we're having a wand fight, we know all we need to know.
Right.
About,
No, you're right.
You know, he who shall not be named.
Yes.
Or she who shall not be named. But we're still learning things. She's going to chuck a kid off a balcony in a second.
I know.
We're still learning things.
I know. It frustrates me because...
Where was her parachute?
I don't know.
She should keep that on her at all times.
She should.
She's used to jumping off things.
That's right. I was thinking about that, actually. It's so frustrating because I felt like this season, I've probably never given out so many 3s and 2s in any other season. I know.
Stay tuned next week.
But they just backfilled so much, and they could have dulled it out more evenly and made it the series more interesting as we were going instead of just leaving it to like the last couple of episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which all kind of happened within like a day, right? Like the last 4 or 5 episodes, it's like one day.
Here's something else too, since it's important up until the last episode, but okay, well, wish you could stay, Helios. Oh, one more thing. Here you go. Golden crystal. Thank you. I am the defender of that. No.
Yeah, we don't do that.
He leaves, presumably to continue his duties. Do they keep the gold? Who's got the golden crystal?
Presumably he does, but it's like his horn. So like we don't see them.
All right, I suppose
we don't see, but we don't see them like they physically had the golden crystal. We don't see them give it to him and him putting it back on his horn or whatever.
Does he have a horn at the end?
I'm pretty sure he has a horn at the end.
Well, then he's got it back.
Okay.
We'll have to just watch him put it back, I guess.
But he
did he leave his phone?
It's so confused. That's off the hook somewhere. It's just, you know, ringing dial tone. But it's weird because like they took the crystal from his horn, but his horn didn't go away. It just wasn't as shiny anymore.
Yeah, all right.
So I don't know. It's weird. We don't follow everything.
We might at this point care more than the people that made it did. But
I think we
that's
definitely
up for
do.
Debate. Here's a question. There's no answer because it will be answered in about 40 minutes or so. But none of these guys died. What are we going to rate? There's nothing to rate.
Well, but yeah, there's nobody died, but there is.
Well, I guess like Professor Tomoe didn't die, but the thing inside of him died.
Yeah. Well,
all the bad guys get away.
You're right.
All right,
but
just think about that.
But
just
okay,
think about that.
There's still something we can rate. I feel like
could Nehellenia start again?
Maybe
another billion years goes by.
Mm-hmm.
This is the new sequel we're gonna pitch. Sailor Moon 1 billion. And, you know, some other dream thing shows up or some, you know, cybergirls find a data pool and there's a thing inside, right?
Sure.
It's like Sauron.
Okay.
Spoiler alert for the end of Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Sauron does not die at the end of Lord of the Rings.
No, he doesn't.
No, they destroy the ring and that essentially destroys any ability for him to take physical form or really amass power on Middle-earth ever again. But Tolkien is explicit about the fact that he will remain within Arda until the the ending of the world until Eru Iluvatar, destroys the world.
Wow.
He will always be around. It's a metaphor, even though Tolkien hates metaphors, for evil.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But he's not gone. And so like Nehellenia being, not just burned alive by light or something like that, but like still being around is interesting. And also, it's kind of one of those, not who's right and who's wrong. I don't think there's a moral ambiguity, but you got to say, everybody who believes in what they believe in really went for what they believe in.
Yeah.
There are intractable sides here.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon, a girl who can't even like study for a test, is like, F you, I'm going to win.
Yes.
I'm going to throw myself off this thing.
Love it so much.
I'm going to win this. And Chibi believes in everything that she believes in. And even at the end, Nehellenia is like, put me to sleep for 1 billion years. Now I want to be hot still.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
It's just like, wow, I'm not sure anybody learned any of the lessons that were elucidated by
I don't know that they did.
The season's trying to tell people things, and nobody's really listening.
Yeah, no.
Except, I don't know, Chibi and Usagi don't hate each other so much anymore. But, like, she's put herself on the line for Chibi before and would do again.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then, like, again, I feel like it's a failure of, other than, wanting to, have big titties or something like that. What's Chibi's dream? We found it in the body swap episode.
Yeah.
They failed to get explicit about her dream. And we can make assumptions, she wants to, not be told what to do, be an adult, be pretty, be in love. Like, we get all that.
Right.
But this whole time we're like, everybody has a dream. I want to raise fish or whatever,
Right.
And we get to Chibiusa, and she didn't have one. And even at the end, she's like, I want to tell you my dreams. And I'm like, well, you can tell the whole audience. Like, I guess we all want to know.
Yeah.
Unless you are just assuming, well, it's just the sort of general dreams that, like, young children have. Which is like, okay, that's boring.
Yeah, we could make something more exciting than that.
I want to create this thing called the iPhone. Why would anybody listen to me?
Well, and I think, too, like with the body swap episode, like, I think it makes more sense that that's a dream of hers when you go back to the manga where she's supposed to be 600 years old and trapped into a child's body.
When am I going to get boobs?
Yeah. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I was speaking for myself.
Oh, okay.
But Chibi would feel that way, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, nobody dies.
Nobody dies.
And the Amazonesses still going around. Can you explain? I'm supposed to understand all the bits in the comedy.
Oh, God, I don't know.
What was the UFO thing at the end?
I think that was just to distract them.
'Cause,
so she could give Pegasus a hug and not feel embarrassed.
But why is it magic? Is there something that doesn't translate? Because they do the pineapple thing, and that's like, we've joked about close-up magic. That's just sleight of hand, which is quote-unquote magic, but doesn't involve them dematerializing a golden crystal and rematerializing a pineapple. That's just a swapperoo, So then at the end, it's just a lady in a bush going, a UFO! And she's like, we can do magic. Do they think lying is magic?
I don't
know. Do they not know about lying?
Also, I thought can I be honest?
Is this a Ricky Gervais movie?
Oh my
gosh. Have they invented some technology that they think that they've come up with, like, you can say things that aren't true. This is incredible. We are powerful goddesses. Okay.
Oh my God. Can I be honest? I thought it was Chibiusa who said, look, a UFO. And
I know for a fact it's not.
How?
Or at least I know for a fact that the fan sub person thought it wasn't, because the words were red and not pink.
Huh.
And then it cuts back to Vesves, and she's like, guess we can do magic after all. So clearly that's what she's referring to.
Okay. That changes what I felt about it then.
The greatest spell of all, lying. The most fun an Amazoness can have with her clothes on.
Oh my God.
Or a circus outfit.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further.
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan.
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard. The moon and the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno is returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning Alcapop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry.
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kyoro Kyoro Miru, or Carelessly Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to be talking about Mount Fuji. And I picked this because Fujisan is very tall, and you wouldn't want to fall off of Fujisan. Also, I just wanted to talk about Fujisan.
Yeah, all right. Sure.
Yeah.
That's if they get, they're so high. How come they're not
so very high?
Let her go.
So cold, yeah.
Jet plane goes by.
Exactly.
Oh, is that an elephant, honey? No, I think it's more of like an elephant dragon.
Oh my god. Mount Fuji, or Fujisan, is an active stratovolcano, or a conical volcano made of many layers of hardened lava and other volcanic materials.
So at some point, this thing was popping off.
Oh, yeah.
And for a long time.
For a long time, yes. And over many, many, many years. And it's located on Honshu with the summit elevation of 3,776.24 meters, which is about 12,389 feet, 3 inches.
Okay.
3 inches. That's important.
Lasers.
Yes.
I don't know how they get it so accurate.
I don't know either. Yeah. It is the tallest mountain in Japan and the second highest volcano located on an island in Asia, the highest being Mount Karinchi on the island of Sumatra. Huh. Yeah. The mountain is located about 100 kilometers or 62 miles southwest of Tokyo, and on a clear day, you can even see it from Tokyo.
Yeah.
But I feel like Fujisan is elusive, and you don't see it's very common not to see Fujisan, like hiding behind clouds or what have you.
Well, 62 miles is the horizon, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess a little bump.
I saw it on the Shinkansen. We went past, and I could kind of see it, but I couldn't see it super well. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of clouds and stuff.
It's not like Seattle or Portland, where you can see Mount Hood and.
Well, I mean, you can when it's like clear out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can see it from far away. It just has to be a clear day.
Where's Fujisan?
Yeah, right. Where's Fujisan? Mount Fuji has an extraordinary symmetrical cone, which is covered in snow for about 5 months of the year. The current kanji for Mount Fuji mean wealth or abundant and man of status, respectively.
Whoa.
However, the origins of the spelling and the name Fuji is an ongoing debate. Huh. A text of the 9th century Tale of the Bamboo Cutter says that the name came from immortal, or Fushi, or Fuji.
Huh.
And also from the image of plentiful, or fu, soldiers, or shi, or ji, scaling a mountain. An early folk etymology claims that Fuji came from the kanji not +2, meaning without equal. Another claims that it came from the kanji not but to exhaust, meaning ceaseless.
Huh.
And there are other interpretations of the kanji as well.
Sure.
And it's interesting. It's not very clear exactly what the kanji means, and you can argue a lot of different ways.
You don't think about that. I mean, we're speaking English, one of the most mongrel languages in the world. And so, tracking down the meaning or etymology of a certain word is often very sort of tortuous. But it's weird to think that this big mountain, we've always called it something.
Yep.
But this little picture here with the lines, we don't really know what that was. It might have been this, it might have been that.
Yeah.
They all kind of make sense.
Yeah, right.
But maybe that's just us, justifying in our mind. I think it's clearly a man of stature. That makes sense. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Fuji, it's just other than the rap group, but, the fact that, a WWF manager, his name is Mr. Fuji. I mean, people know this name.
People do know this name.
But they don't know why this name.
That's right.
It's fascinating.
There's Fuji apples, too. So, there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Fuji apple.
Apple of stature.
Mount Fuji is one of Japan's 3 holy mountains, or Sanreizan, along with Mount Haku and Mount Tate. From Wikipedia, quote, it was added to the World Heritage List as a cultural site on June 22nd, 2013.
So late.
It's late. It's very late. So, just a little over 10 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Were they just not part of that?
I guess not.
I guess we'll do Japan, too. Yeah, come on. Hi, guys. Come on.
I guess Fuji gets it.
All right. Fuji.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's it mean? Oh, boy. This is going to be complicated.
From Wikipedia, quote, in English, the mountain is known as Mount Fuji. Some sources refer to it as Fujisan or Fujiyama, or redundantly, Mount Fujiyama, which is Mountain Fuji Mountain.
Mountain Fuji Mountain.
Yeah.
Come on down to Mountain Fuji Mountain.
Japanese speakers refer to this mountain as Fujisan. The san is not the honorific suffix used for people's names.
Oh my God.
But the Sino-Japanese reading of the character Yama or mountain used in Sino-Japanese compounds.
What?
So
Fuji-san is where linguistics goes to die of exposure, apparently.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
So let's say I wanted to address Fuji respectfully. Would I say Fuji-san-san?
No, I don't think you would you? But maybe.
Fujiyama-san-san. Which means Mount
Fujiyama-san.
Yeah, so.
I feel like I've heard Fuji-sama before, too. Maybe I'm making that up.
I could say, but Sama's sort of
more honorific.
Yeah. It's like milord.
Yes,
it's getting pretty old.
Yeah. Fuji-san-san, I like it. Fuji-san has been thought of as a sacred since primordial times, and women were prohibited from climbing it.
Great.
Yeah. It was not until...
You're going to mess it up.
I know.
Yeah, get off there. Come on. Yeah. I'll show you how to do it.
It was not until 1872 that the Japanese government issued an edict stating, quote, any remaining practices of female exclusion on shrine and temple lands shall immediately abolished, and mountain climbing for the purpose of worship, etc., shall be permitted, end quote.
What year was that?
That was 1872.
Okay.
However, Tatsu Takayama became the first woman on record to climb Fujisan in the fall of 1832,
Whoa.
40 years before the edict went into place. So I kind of wonder how strict they were about women can't climb it.
I kind of wonder how hard it is to keep a fake mustache on in that wind up there. You know?
That's true.
Yes, give me another crampon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's high up here.
Oh, it's so high, so windy.
God, there's no chicks up here. They just mess it up.
Ruin the face of the mountain.
Leaving their lipstick everywhere. Well, here we go.
The first climb by a foreigner was Sir Rutherford Alec in September 1860. Alec's brief narrative in The Capital of the Tycoon was the first widely distributed description of Mount Fuji in the West. Lady Fanny Parkes, the wife of British Ambassador Sir Harry Parkes, was the first non-Japanese woman to ascend Fujisan in 1867, which was also before the edict in 1872. So maybe they weren't too strict about women not climbing.
Well, these are foreign women.
Yeah, I guess.
Sure, they get to do what they want.
Foreign women, but the first lady was Japanese.
Right, yeah.
She's wearing her fake mustache.
Well, plus, it's a big mountain. Like, how do you catch everybody?
Well, that's true. There are specific routes that you go
I know.
up,
Yeah,
but yeah, how do you police it all?
We got to go up the back way. Come on.
We got to go the toughest route. That's what we got to do. As of December 2002, the volcano has classified as active with a low risk of eruption. The last recorded eruption was the Hoe eruption, which started on December 16th, 1707, and ended about January 1st, 1708.
Okay, the 18th century.
So, yeah, it was erupting for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So that's a long time.
Yeah.
The eruption formed a new crater and a second peak named Mount Hoe halfway down the southeastern side. Fuji-san spewed cinders and ash, which fell like rain in Izu, Kai, Sagami, and Musashi prefectures. The ash also darkened the midday sky as far as Edo. It also buried temples and homes near Fuji-san. Since then, there have been no signs of eruption. However, a magnitude 6.4 aftershock struck the mountain's southern flank in the days following the 2011 Tohoku earthquake. So people were really concerned that it was going to cause Fuji-san to erupt, but it did not.
Yeah.
So
I mean, unless it, does a Mount St. Helens, it would be inconvenient, but it probably wouldn't endanger the city.
Hopefully not.
Well, obviously the smoke and the ash would be bad for health, people breathing. But.
Yeah. And there's other cities and towns and stuff like that are closer to the mountain too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's true. Huh.
Yeah.
little more nervous.
Yeah.
A little more keyed in to the little rumble here and there.
Yeah. I think so.
Is Fujiyama-san gonna blow a stack?
Mount Fujiyamasan-san.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In September 2004, the staffed weather station at the summit was closed after running for 72 years. Staff monitoring radar sweeps the detected heavy rains and typhoons. The station, which was the highest in Japan at 3,780 meters or 12,402 feet, was replaced by a fully automated meteorological system.
Oops, satellites, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right. So
Still, that's cool.
Yeah. In 2009, approximately 300,000 people climbed Fuji-san. The most popular period for people to climb is from July to August, while huts and other facilities are operating and the weather is warmest. Most people climb the Fuji-san at the Fuji-san. I don't know why I wrote that.
There you go.
The Fuji-san.
The Mount Fujiyama-san.
Yeah, there you go. Most people climb Fuji-san at night so they can be at or near the summit when the sun rises. The morning light is called Goraiko, which means arrival of light. People are deterred from climbing Fuji-san in October through May due to severe cold weather and a number of high-profile deaths that have happened when people climb that time of year.
That's interesting. I mean, this isn't like K2, I mean, it's a mountain.
Yeah.
But it's that perfect sort of volcanic, God, I just got done reading all these Kim Stanley Robinson books, and I immediately forgot all of my
volcanic rock descriptions.
That's all it is. But whatever the rise of a volcanic mountain is, it's a slope. So obviously there are parts in it that are tough, but this isn't like, Stallone.
No, it's not.
But at the same time, you'd think, there's trails. I could do that. It's like in L.A. Everybody's always going hiking, but definitely some EMS guys are heading out to some trail with somebody
right
whose ankles they weren't quite as strong as they thought they were. So I'm sure people try to go up Fuji and end up going, oh no, I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
But like 300,000 people, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
That's just tourism.
It is tourism for sure. Like I think. Most people can climb Mount Fuji. I mean, I think it would be hard if you had like,
mobility issues.
Exactly. Thank you. That's what I was thinking of. And maybe some other health issues too. Like, I don't know, but maybe if you had really bad asthma, maybe it would be more challenging for you to do or something like that. But I think that the vast majority of people can do it. It is strenuous, though, in parts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there are some routes that are not as difficult to climb as others.
It's a long walk, too. It's a long way up.
It's a long way up. And it takes longer to go up than it does to come down.
Well, I mean, that's true of a lot of things.
Well, I suppose that's true.
That's my parachute.
The temperature is very low at high altitude, and the cone is covered by snow for several months of the year. The lowest recorded temperature is 38 degrees Celsius, or minus 38 degrees Celsius, excuse me.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Or minus 36.
Inside the volcano.
Yeah, right.
It's 38 degrees Celsius.
Or minus 36.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And the highest temperature was 17.8 degrees Celsius and 64 degrees Fahrenheit. So it doesn't get very hot.
Yeah.
So.
Very temperate.
Yes. From Wikipedia, quote, there are 4 major routes to the summit. Each has numbered stations along the way. They're clockwise starting from the north: Kawaguchiko, Subashiri, Gotemba, and Fujinomiya routes. Climbers usually start at the 5th stations, as these are reachable by car or by bus. The summit is the 10th station on each trail. The stations on different routes are at different elevations. So there's different stations where you can go and, kind of take a rest for a little bit. Sometimes they have vending machines or what have you there. And you can kind of get in from the cold a little bit too.
Think anybody ever tried to climb it and they just came in like full gear, like a bag and, crampons. And
Yes. Yeah.
the pickaxe.
Some
Sherpas.
I could see that.
Oxygen tanks.
Yeah,
You're
right.
like, come on, we gotta go. Come on. Wait, I'm waiting in line for the bathroom. All right. Now back to the mountain.
I could see that.
Like the spirit of Edmund Hillary.
Oh my gosh. I read this book once that was about like different people's experiences traveling in Japan. And this one woman was talking about, she climbed Mount Fuji and she got like this walking stick that she bought at one of the lower stations. And then like at each station, it was like you got a stamp or something like that on it. So you can show where you went and everything.
Oh.
So I think that was pretty cool. I would love to do that sometime. Personally love to climb Mount Fuji. I never got the chance to while I was in Japan, but
With 6, you get a free mountain.
yeah, right. From Wikipedia, quote, a well-known Japanese saying suggests that a wise person will climb Mount Fuji once in their lifetime, but only a fool would climb it twice.
Why?
Because it is like strenuous and like
Okay, all right.
it's
I'm
not
doing that again.
Yeah, exactly. It's not.
There's a good saying for this. let me workshop it.
The present-day mountain is a composite of 3 successive volcanoes. At the bottom is Komitake, which was surmounted by Ko-Fuji or Old Fuji about 100,000 years ago. And finally by the most recent Shin-Fuji or New Fuji. The Japanese long believed volcanic activity was the act of God and respected Fujisan as an object of worship from afar. Fujiko was an Edo period cult centered around the mountain founded by a Shinto priest named Hasegawa Kakugyo. Legend has it that Kakugyo climbed Fujisan 100 times. I kind of think that's apocryphal, but
Yeah, what's his homily?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why climb it once? We didn't climb it 100 times.
There you go. The cult worshipped the mountain as a female deity and encouraged its members to climb it. In doing so, they would be reborn, quote, purified and able to find happiness, end quote. The followers of the cult asked their neighbors for money in Edo to sponsor their annual pilgrimage to Fujisan. Only groups of healthy young men made the trip, for it was not easy to travel from Edo to Fujisan at that time. In 1780, Takada Toshiro, the leader of a local branch of Fujiko cult, had the idea to build a miniature replica of Fujisan on the grounds of his local Shinto shrine. So a mini Fujisan. This gave cult followers who were unable to climb the mountain, whether they're through age, ill health, or gender, the option of climbing a mini version of Fujisan instead.
This is like vertical endeavors.
Yeah. This was Edo's first Fujizuka, or, quote, mound made of the image of Mount Fuji, end quote. It was 10 meters, or 32 feet tall, and is said to have taken Tanaka and his brethren over 9 years to complete. They built it using rust-colored volcanic rocks, laboriously hauled to the capital from Fujisan.
They started with a plate of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Said, translation, this means something.
Exactly. Affectionately known as Takata Fuji, you can still see it today in the grounds of Mizunari Shrine near Waseda University. Over the course of the 20th century, most of Tokyo's Fujizuka were torn down to make way for modern roads and buildings. Thankfully, about 60 of them have endured to the present day, and most of them can still be scaled.
Get your picture taken with mini Mount Fuji.
Exactly. The mini Fuji that is the most similar to the shape of Fujisan is probably Toshima Nagasaki, which stands at the grounds of Takamatsu Sengen Shrine in Toshima Ward in Tokyo. It is 8 meters high, or 26 feet high, 21 meters, or 69 feet in diameter, and covered with volcanic rock taken from the slopes of Mount Fuji. Its 50 Buddhist statues and religious symbols give some demonstration of how popular the Fujiko cult used to be in this part of Tokyo.
Wow, there's your Zen koan, right? If you make a Fuji out of rocks from Mount Fuji, you have only lessened Mount Fuji.
You're right.
You've just made another... Fuji is in more than one place.
You're right.
Fuji is in the heart.
Oh, mind blown.
You've just lowered Mount Fuji.
You're right. You
and
have
made
just
another.
lowered...
Yes. You're making little satellite Fujis.
They are. That's exactly what they're doing.
I've never said the word Fuji so many times without rapping.
Fujiko also fasted to show their perseverance and resolve for Fujisan. The cult waned in the Meiji period, and although it persists to this day, it has been incorporated into Shinto sects. Through its extremism, Fujiko did help promote the worship of Fujisan and popularize climbing the mountain.
Got a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Fujisan?
Yeah, right, exactly. And I do have a trigger warning for suicide, so if that's not for you, then just fast forward at 5 minutes. The forest at the northwest base of the mountain is named Aokigahara, although it has a rather unfortunate nickname as the Suicide Forest. Folktales and legends tell of ghosts, demons, yurei, and yokai haunting the forest, and in the 19th century, Aokigahara was one of the many places poor families abandoned the very young and the elderly. So it's got a dark history. Approximately 30 suicides have been counted yearly. In 2002, there was a high of 80 suicides. The increase in suicides gave rise to local officials putting up signs that attempt to convince individuals planning to commit suicide to rethink their desperate plans. And sometimes these messages have proven effective.
And also rethink the crappy YouTube video you're planning on making here.
Yeah, right. So.
Not great.
No, it's not great.
And gave rise to a crappy movie with the lady from Game of Thrones.
What was the crappy movie?
I don't remember what it was called. And it was, what's her name? You know, the smirking whore from Highgarden.
Oh, yes.
But it was being made right around the time that I think the Jake Paul controversy happened. Or was it Logan Paul? Who cares? And so that wasn't good for the movie, and also it wasn't very good. It was just like, oh, it's a spooky forest. You know, it's like J-horror, very strong in the 90s, 2000s.
Yes.
Sleeping right now.
Yeah.
A few good examples of it. Also, it kind of came up or kind of inspired the 2000 film Versus by Ryuhei Kitamura.
Okay.
Here's the pitch for the film. About mobsters, right?
Okay.
Mobsters, the Yakuza, they kill people. You got to get rid of the bodies. You hide them in the forest, right?
Okay, sure.
Like the Pine Barrens, you know, in Jersey. But it's a haunted forest. And so they go to the forest and all the gangsters they killed come back as zombies.
Okay.
Zombies with guns.
That sounds interesting.
You got a movie.
Yeah. I was going to say, okay, that's great. Well, that's what I had to share about Fuji-san today.
And you have climbed it?
No, I want to.
Oh, okay.
I wish I had. I really I remember reading that, like what I was telling you, that story about the woman talking about climbing Fuji with her walking stick and stuff like that, and being like, I want to do that. But I have not done that. I have friends who climbed. One of my friends climbed like when I was in college, but they went like before we were really friends, and they went.
Well, that doesn't count.
Yeah, right. They went like shortly after we arrived. They went and they climbed Mount Fuji, and I was like, "Oh, I wish I could have, gone with you, but oh well."
Guess we weren't friends.
Guess we weren't friends.
Oh well.
Guess it doesn't matter.
How nice for you.
Yeah, took some videos, I think, of being up at the top, so it's pretty impressive. But I would like to do it someday.
What's the self-service like up there?
That is a great question. I don't know the answer to. Yeah, I mean, can you use your camera if your cell reception isn't going? You can, right?
Well, yeah, you just record the video and you upload it when you get back into
right.
coverage.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's not really that great up at the top.
Well, now at the top, it's probably a bunch of people holding their cell phones going, wow, look at this.
Yeah. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat this episode? There's no food in this episode.
No, there's none.
Yeah.
There's no time for that.
No.
There's people swallowing their pride, perhaps. There's other people, maybe eating crow.
Yeah. Or dreams.
There's people eating their own hearts out.
Nehellenia does eat dreams.
That's right.
So she talks about eating dreams.
That's right. She does eat dreams.
There we go. She's eating dreams, everybody.
Sushi yume.
Yeah. Sushi yume. So I thought we could rate the Amazoness quartet.
Okay.
Because this is the last episode we see them in.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I'll never be free. That tells me something I didn't want to know but was worried about. Let's talk about the Amazoness quartet.
Okay, let's do it.
Now, are we going to rate them? We have to rate them individually.
Yes, of course.
I got to tell you, before we even start, this is going to be tough.
Yeah, I know.
Because they don't differentiate
very much. No.
I have to think back to their individual
episodes,
sort of interactions with people.
I know.
Okay. Hit me.
Jun.
Okay, Jun. The acrobat.
She's tough and sassy, and she's really good at acrobatics. She says whatever is on her mind. So I do like that about her. She's very tough. I'm going to give her 3 out of 5 dark stars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory. Jun is the one that helped Kyusuke get over the jumping box?
Yes.
That I enjoyed that, and her cool leather jacket.
Yeah, that was cool.
But out of the 4, unfortunately, they're probably going to be rated in comparison to each other.
That's fair.
Because I don't feel like I can just pull one out and then put them up against, Zoisite or something like that. And she's probably going to be the lowest amongst the 4.
Okay.
Cool leather jacket and jumping box aside, because that's really the only thing that stands out for me.
Yeah.
Her putting poor Kyusuke in a cage with a holographic bear. All good stuff, but the only thing that I remember that she really did, and doesn't possess the personality that the other 3 do, I don't think. I would think of her as like kind of the dumb one. But not like the funny dumb one, just like the, oh, okay, whatever, So, yeah, I got to say probably 2 out of 5 dark stars. Let's see. Come back and do some bonus episodes. We'll see where we go. But
okay.
That's going to be me for her.
Siri. She has style and always seems to splash out with her plans. Like, i.e., she like rented a mansion and a car to persuade a down on his luck artist to give her his dreams. She goes big or go home, She arrives in like a limo with a red carpet to the nursery school.
Yeah.
So I have to give her props for that. She's flashy. So I'm going to give her 4 out of 5 dark stars.
Jeez. You gotta give yourself someplace to go.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a 3 for me. There's good and there's bad. I like that that she does have a lot of style, and that her technique to affect these people is gonna be to wow them and blow them away. So she shows up with, red carpet in the trunk of the car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if these chauffeurs are dreamins,
probably,
or what. But yeah, and you get the feeling that she kind of seems like Vest is the leader, but she definitely thinks that she's the leader.
Yeah.
And so a little buffoonery there. I like that. That's all good. But again, doesn't really distinguish herself in terms of personality, and is supposed to be the master of flowers, and that. Even when that has a chance to come up, like, it doesn't pay off.
No, it doesn't.
I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. So ultimately, and of course, they're all incredible acrobats aside. Unfortunately, I don't get to seem to do that much. But yeah, sitting on a pile of mirrors, good image.
It's
going to be a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Dark stars.
Pala Pala. I'm convinced that she is the most powerful of the Amazon S quartet, and dare I say, the one with the most personality. She says her name at all the time like a Pokemon character, but it's somehow really endearing.
Who's that Pokemon? Pala Pala.
Yeah. So I'm going to give her 5 out of 5 dark stars.
Wow, 5 out of 5. You're going to put her up against all the greats. She stands amongst the likes of Bakshi and...
Okay, when you put it that way.
Not too late.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to give her a 4 out of 5. Definitely one of the strongest of the Amazon quartet. In my estimation, I like the fact, and no one can explain what's happening here, but can just create office buildings and living beings with her magic. Is clearly like the enfant terrible here, has like the most power if she could just sort of get it together.
Right.
She could be running this whole show.
Exactly.
But it's just the person that we tap when we need to create a ball telescope or something like that.
Yes.
Doesn't know what she's got there. And a lot of personality. And I also like speaking of enfant terribles, the one who is like childishly innocent, but, too much. And so when she wants something and she wants what she wants, she's like a baby with a laser gun. Do you know what I mean? She's going to cause a lot of trouble getting that thing.
Yes.
And so that's every one. You can't do that 4 times, but every one of those, the Amazon S's should have been at that level, I think, instead of just some of them do flips and stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, this is like, she's, in my opinion, the epitome of what, the Amazon S villain should be.
Yeah. I agree.
And cool costume, too.
She has a cool costume. She reminds me of, do you remember Candyland, the board game?
Vaguely.
Oh,
no, that's not season 5, is it?
No. the lady who's like the ice queen or
Rock,
ice princess.
Candy, crystal power.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
She had blue and was her color, and it just reminds me of that for some reason.
There's been an ice princess in Sailor Moon, too.
Yeah.
We've already seen that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just design-wise.
Boy, Elsa's just not that original, is she? When you think about the fact that happened in the 21st century, and there's just been... I know maybe... I know the Frozen was originally going to be a retelling of the Ice Queen sort of tale, and then it turned into something else. But it's just like, oh, it's got blonde hair and a blue dress. It's like, we just kind of seen that.
We have kind of seen that, haven't we?
What are they going to do? A cyberpunk Disney movie?
Oh my gosh.
Got goggles.
Cyberpunk.
And a robot arm. And singing to a techno song about wanting to be free from the corporation.
Oh my God.
All right, this is mine.
Okay.
I'm going to mail this to myself.
Okay. Ves. She's sassy and can tame beasts and seems to be the team leader, even though it's said in everything that Siri is the team leader. So I'm going to give her 3 out of 5 dark stars. I feel like... What?
Go ahead.
I would like to give her more, but I feel like we don't get to see a whole lot of her personality.
I'm going to give her 4 out of 5.
Oh.
I think that she is solid. I like a whip. I always like a whip, although we just had a whip with the trio, but let's bring it back for the Quato. And she just seems kind of angry. That sort of fits her fiery personality, I suppose. But really, she's just sort of like, she's a ham and egger. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
She's just getting it done. She's just solid. She doesn't stand out personality wise, but she's definitely capable. She's probably went out on the most missions, I think, to get mirrors, insofar as they did that individually. And so she's just getting the work done. Sometimes she's got her beasts out there. She's got kind of cool. What are we doing? Demons.
Lemurs. Yeah.
She's got cool lemurs for the most part.
Yeah.
And then the girls show up. She's like, oh, God, these guys again. I can't believe it. You know, she's just sort of like, just trying to get her job done. One would imagine that when they punch out at the end of the day or whatever, you know, and they hit the death spa, she's the one that's, you know, taking the most advantage of it. She's got a big workload to get back to, you know, she's on task.
Sure.
And that's strong. Not as strong in personality as, you know, a Siri or a Pala, but definitely the one who's getting it done.
All right. Sounds good.
Maybe not the leader, but the one that this place wouldn't run without her.
No, it wouldn't.
She takes a sick day. We don't do anything.
She's the one who gives the golden crystal to Sailor Moon.
That's right.
Yeah. So Pala might have created the mini pineapple, but Vest is the one that gave them the golden crystal.
I have that on a pillow somewhere, I think. My grandma gave me that.
Oh, that's great.
Ah.
Sabu or Dabu?
Oh, that's it.
Wait.
And that's it.
Do you want to talk about it more?
I can't believe it. I'm never getting away. I'm never going to get away. All right. I'm ready.
You okay?
I can't believe this.
What can't you believe?
Nothing. We're not going to do Pegasus?
Should we do Pegasus?
Just like, how does his little hooves holding up the sign with his name and the number, you know, and then to the side, and his nose is like cut off in the profile shot on the wanted poster.
Oh my God.
I got to make that. Get my Photoshop out and make that.
If I rated Pegasus, I mean, we don't really rate quote unquote good guys.
Yeah, no, we rate villains.
Should we rate Pegasus?
No, it's fine. Just kidding.
Okay. So I do have some trivia. This was the final episode of the 90s Sailor Moon anime in the French original English and the Hungarian dubs. Stars wouldn't be translated into English until 2019. It was translated by Viz Media.
Huh, okay.
So,
as part of the sort of new Viz.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before it was just fan subs.
Sure. Yeah. But nothing official. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, congratulations, Eastern Europe. Enjoy.
Yeah. This episode is the last appearance of the Amazoness Quartet, Helios and Pegasus, and the Golden Crystal.
Okay. I guess that's just, I mean, we're out of crystal colors, right? Like, where do we go now?
There's places to go.
Okay. Well, that's just that is a different crystal. It helped us out here.
Yes.
But goodbye.
Goodbye.
You just take it back with you.
That's right.
We're not gonna be using that one.
Apparently not.
All right.
Yeah. This is the only episode of the 90s anime in which no transformations or elemental attacks are utilized.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girls don't even speak until the end.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is the last episode of the 90s anime to feature Moonlight Densetsu as the opening theme song.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
This is the last episode to feature Rashiku Ikimasho as an ending theme.
Yeah, right.
This was the only episode of Sailor Moon Supers in which Princess Serenity appeared.
Yeah.
This was the last episode directed by Kuniko Ikuhara and Ikoko Ito, and the last episode written by Yoji Enokido.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I'm not worried, but that is a big deal. That is
it's a huge deal.
That's a milestone for the series.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, there's so many dumb comparisons I can make. Let's leave Supernatural alone.
Okay.
It's kind of like Veep. It's kind of like when Armando Iannucci left Veep to to the American production team.
Okay.
Veep is an HBO show.
Yes.
By Armando Iannucci.
Yes.
Who did The Thick of It and
Got it.
a lot of political humor stuff in the UK.
Yes.
And, you know, obviously those are fantastic shows, and they are, you know, they are pillars of, you know, British culture, popular culture. But you ain't doing anything until you're doing American TV,
apparently.
HBO,
yeah,
nonetheless, with Elaine Bennis, by the way.
Yeah, right.
And so that was a big deal. And so Armando set up Veep, and Veep ran well. Not egregiously, but did recycle some plots and some premises from Thick of It, you know, into that. And then basically like got the show to the point of, I think the last season was his last season was the constitutional crisis where she's, you know, trying to be elected to be president, but then they have a tie, you know, in the votes or in the delegates and everything. And then just sort of said, okay, that's enough. I got to go do other stuff. I'm Armando Iannucci. And the show went on for another like 3 or 4 seasons.
Right.
It was all like American run at that point.
Okay, sure.
And some people say that the later seasons aren't as good as the first seasons. They're definitely like crazier, and they delve more into the weird intricacies of the American like constitutional democratic system. But the show has a different flavor.
Sure.
And so losing, you know, I know Ikuhara was the director of this season, but had been on staff and as a writer and director of episodes before then. And then also the writers that you mentioned, they're not going to start completely over with season 5.
Right.
But it's going to be a different team.
It is going to be a different team. I'm pretty sure Ikuhara was the main director for S as well. I can't remember.
Wasn't it like for part of it?
I think he took over R and then did all of S.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe he's just running out of ideas.
It's possible.
And like Iannucci, would perhaps reuse some of those ideas in later series.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, look. I'm never going to be free of this. But if I ever was, looking forward to what's in the future.
Come on. Now we're at our wrap up. I like that Nehellenia tells Sailor Moon all about her past and confesses that she devoured her subject's dream mirrors, that was the only way she could stay young and beautiful forever. It's super creepy that Zirconia comes out of Nehellenia's midsection and starts strangling Sailor Moon.
And nobody says, what the hell was that? Nobody
and
questions
somebody
it.
should.
Yes.
And somebody should.
Somebody should say something.
Yes. I don't like how Nehellenia just throws Chibiusa overboard. And I like how Sailor Moon says, "You're not going to beat me," to Nehellenia as she jumps off of the throne to save Chibi Moon. It's just baller. That's all I can say.
It is. And what if we saw, you know, you dropped this whole thing about how Usagi is, you know, the spitting image of her mother. You know, she is herself a reincarnation, but she's almost kind of the reincarnation of her mother in a way, you know, maintaining this power and this legacy. And we get a really quick flash of something. It could be, she says those eyes. We don't know if she means the eyes of Queen Serenity or if she means, I don't know, you know, former Princess Serenity. Usagi was like, all right, hit her, you know, and she's the one that like sealed it. We don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
And so my point, the reason I bring it up is, again, if we just didn't hide this the whole time, you could have played up the family rivalry between like the dynasties.
Yeah,
you could have played up the ancient hatred. You get that it's there and it could be working behind the scenes. And Nehellenia kind of confirms as much at the end when she's like, oh, so it is you. You are the reincarnation, implying that maybe this was on her mind. Obviously, she returned to this world after being sealed away and immediately saw, you know, girls in tutus running around with moon powers and stuff like that, and probably went like, okay, I think I know what's going on here. These guys are still around, you know, after all this time.
Yeah.
But like, why not, you know, make hay with that? Why not do something with that? Look, this is all, I'm going to be talking to the wall for years about this show still. It's under the bridge at this point. We don't need to keep going over it. But yeah, I kind of wish that they had just done something with that.
Yeah, I wish they had to.
But they didn't.
No, they did not.
So your rating is?
My rating is 4 out of 5 roses.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 roses.
Okay.
this is just a good half hour of television. And I'll give you this. If you save all the good stuff for the end, you're going to get a 5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're going to look back down the slopes of Mount Fuji and you're going to go, there's a lot of 3s, 2s, and 1s out there as well.
Yeah.
Maybe if we had sprinkled some of this good stuff throughout the show, the graph would have been higher. The elevation would have been higher.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I can't... Look, I've complained quite a bit, and you've listened to it all. But this is a good episode. This is a great episode. But I just wish there'd been more great episodes leading up to it. Me
too. I feel like I've given out the fewest number of 4s and 5s this season.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating.
There's some great visuals. I mean, they didn't hold back. A lot of times there's just, Juban street scene. We've seen that sell before. They just recycle stuff, but they had to do a lot of new drawings for this. And they all really pay off. And just the idea of, I don't know, maybe they're thinking about Point Break when they're making this. I don't know if that's true or not. But what's the end of this season of your anime? So they're fighting this ancient witch from 1 billion years ago, and she throws one of them off a cliff, and the other one goes, screw you, and just like jumps off after them, and then has to catch up and use the power before they hit the ground, and a flying horse comes and saves them. They turn into angels. Give me the link to the show. That sounds pretty good. Like that really pays off. And we talked about the theme of growing up, but there's also the theme of, I think, healthy pride and unhealthy pride.
Okay, sure.
Whereas even at the end, Nehellenia is unwilling to accept even sympathy.
Yeah.
From Sailor Moon.
Yeah, she doesn't want
We don't know what the end is going to be.
No.
Sailor Moon could go, look, let's just, my friend has a flying horse. We'll get off here. We'll take you to Granny's Harajuku. You're going to have a good time. We'll accept you into our lives. And even at that point, she's like, no, I hate you. And I know I'm so, I hate being old and I hate all this stuff. And I never want to let go of beauty and youth. I'm too proud. I'm too prideful. And even if I am consigned to oblivion, basically they're throwing her into a black hole. They don't say that, but that's basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
She's imprisoned in a black hole. And at the same time, Usagi's like, I can do this. I have done this before, and I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. And that's like pride. That's healthy pride.
No, you're right.
Self-confidence and self-assuredness, and also just, saying, we're better than this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to win this thing.
Yeah.
And so, that's, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You got to give it 5 stars.
Yeah, you do.
It doesn't matter if you complain that, here's a good one. So I was watching see how much time could I could save 90 seconds every week if I didn't watch the opening, but I have to keep watching the opening to see if anything changes. And it pays off like once in this entire season.
I know.
When they add Amazonesses.
Yes.
And they've still got that, 4-bar section where nothing happens and just like snows or crystals fly up. And I keep thinking they're going to add something to that. And even by the end of this, they didn't. They just ran out of room. They just had we've got nothing else to put here.
It's strange.
I kept thinking like, there's going to be,
some huge reveal.
Nehellenia's final form, Mecha-Nehellenia or something like that. And it's like, nope, there's just nothing there still. And then Chibi's just staring at a horse, and that's the end. And it's like, okay, you guys didn't,
Not an elephant dragon.
Nope.
We got none of that.
Couple parts, the first few quarters of the horse, very well drawn. Last couple,
not
figure.
so much.
Yeah. So anyway,
exactly.
All that being said, 5 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5 roses.
My English title is Dream Weaver, Daylight Believer.
Yeah, so close. So close to 2 song titles in one show title.
I know.
But we'll take it. Good enough. My title is both referencing a movie that I've talked about several times in the episode and basically my mental state and my amount of patience with this series at this point. But my title for this episode is Point Breaking.
That's great. Next episode is going to be our Sailor Moon Supers wrap-up episode, and we're going to be looking back at the highs and the lows from Supers.
A lot of lows.
A lot of lows.
Never before, we've done this. This will be our fourth time that we've done this.
Yeah.
Or maybe like 4.5, because I suppose like the end of the Hell Tree.
Oh, yeah, the
arc.
Doom Tree arc.
Never before, this is important, because never before will I be looking back with such a, with an eye of scrutiny.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really want to understand where the train left the tracks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like this has all been a blur. And at the end of S, you could have said, all right, so name all the demons that, that Mehmet had.
Yeah,
and
right.
I probably wouldn't remember them all,
No.
or all of her schemes or whatever. But like, this is such a blur.
Yeah.
And the first part went on for so long, and then none of that mattered because they all went to live in the Crystal Forest.
Right.
And then the new guys came out, but there's other stuff. And so I need this show to remember what happened.
Yeah.
I feel like I've lost the good and the bad. There was definitely some good,
There was some good.
but it's all just mixed up in, oh, you guys do it again, you little wenches, and this, and go out there and do it, come back. So I'm looking forward to this, so I can really, get my head straight.
Yeah.
Also, just to, be done. just please be done.
Yes.
I was thinking about the ritual that the Japanese do when a loved one dies, and they cremate the body.
Yep.
And the family picks the remaining bones out of the ashes of the family member. Mm-hmm. And how incredibly morbid I think that could seem in a way, and how intense that is.
Yeah.
But how at the same time, there is nothing really more indicative to you that this person is gone, and you are interacting with what's left of them.
Yeah.
And that they will, never be around again because you've got their clavicle in your chopsticks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it makes so much sense why they do that. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but I think that death is very sanitized for us in this day and age. Am I talking about a kid's show? Where's this coming from? A post-mortem, literally, if you will. And so that's why I want to do this show, so I can pick through the ashes and bones and finally go, it's gone. Oh, it's gone.
No, it's really gone.
So, yeah, we'll definitely be doing that. A wrap-up of Supers. Also, I think we wanted to mention that we are going to include a Q&A segment.
Yes.
We already mentioned this on our Discord, but if you're not on our Discord, we want to do another Q&A. It's been, I think, literally a year, maybe years, since we've done a Q&A.
Been years, yeah.
So if you have any questions for us about, our reactions to Supers, things that you want your curiosity satisfied for our previous seasons and their coverage. You're a new listener. And you heard something way back in R and you want to ask us about it, that's fine. Everything's on the table. If you want to ask about our process or our other interests, or I don't know, just what we got going on in our lives.
Right.
We're open to whatever. So get your questions to us. Do it soon because we got to put them all together for our Q&A segment. So I would say probably by, if you're listening to this on Friday when it comes out, Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to need those questions.
Yeah.
If you want to ask us a question. And so we'll try to fold those into our show.
Yeah. Should be a lot of fun.
And a special guest.
A special guest.
For the first time on Sailor Noob, we will have a special guest on our next episode. So join us for that.
I'm looking forward to it.
On the Discord, somebody mentioned, why don't we set up a time where maybe we could all watch the Supers movie together, being the last movie.
Yeah.
And that's a great idea. And so we have never done anything like that before.
That's true.
I understand technically how to do it.
Sure.
But we don't know how to set it up. So we're going to go on Discord. We'll also go on definitely Twitter, maybe Facebook, wherever you're following us, look for a poll. We have an idea of when we want to try to get it done. It's not connected to when we'll cover it, so don't worry about that. But we'll throw out a couple dates, our availability, maybe put like a poll or one of those, click on a vote on a calendar things.
Right.
So if you want to watch the Supers movie with us in a live fashion on the internet, look for that poll. Tell us when you're available, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Do our best to get everybody together.
Yeah. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
I'll never be free!